What's up, people? Balmont here. So this weekend only, Watchdogs Legion is available for free on the PSN and is on sale on other platforms too. However, many of you will not be able to play this game for long enough in order to make a decision before the free period expires. But hey, don't worry, I got your back. In this video, I'll be covering the game's mechanics, storytelling, gameplay, and more. But don't worry, no spoilers here. In order to keep on making videos like this, I need your support. So hit the like button and subscribe now. Let's get to that 1,000 subs. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Watchdogs Legion. Is it worth it? Let's go. Unfortunately, the opening act works against the game itself. It's blend in writing, execution, and voice acting. It feels like they picked random people on the street and said, "Hey you, yeah, you, we'll give you 20 bucks and a pack of cheap guitar strings if you come into the studio and read those lines. Want it?"
Carefully, Dalton.
It sounds very amateurish most of the times. And as for the script itself, they were clearly trying to shove as much exposition as possible in the least amount of time. And the end result is some really cringe-worthy lines you could picture your embarrassing preteen self spewing out after listening to Rage Against the Machine or watching The Matrix for the very first time, thinking you're gonna sound cool and smart. Even when you come face to face of sorts against the leader of this terrorist organization on the rooftop, the game fails to make you care for it. There's no real sense of urgency here. It's just, you know, when are you gonna stop talking? So after this royal shot in the foot, this extremely weak opening, you may be thinking, well, that's that then, right? Hell, I myself almost said fuck this, but after heading downtown to take care of business, I decided to keep on going to double check if Legion was as piss poor as its opening act made it look. And it's a mixed bag, really. There is some good stuff in the middle of all of this mess. At its core, the gameplay was built around the keyword swiftness. Going to and fro, driving, hacking, fighting and shooting are as fast and easy as it gets. Which is a good thing. I had many good moments while playing this game. And also, this game revolves around hacking, from stopping lights to servers, drones, vehicles, cell phones, everything can be hacked. You know, it's mad fun to hack cars while you drive through the streets of London and instantly redirect them. It would also be pretty useful during car chases and such, but there's a glaring problem. This game has one of the laziest police forces I've ever seen. Take a look at this. I'm slaughtering people left and right, and this is the police resistance I met with. Really. After stealing a car and driving for under a mile, I was in the clear. This is ridiculous. Now, I know there's a hardcore mode, but a game must always be evaluated by its standard difficulty setting. Whatever comes above that are increments. Still, on the subject of hacking, it can also be used to distract enemies, block paths, create diversions while you swiftly enter a building to wipe out an entire server, or download a classified document. You can also acquire new tools and upgrade them. But there's another problem here. The amount of skills and upgrades is very underwhelming. They're all useful, sure, but it's all too bare bones. You know, it's like the bare minimum. And for a game that's so tech-heavy like Watch Dogs, this is ridiculous. And while still in the gameplay department, let's talk operatives. In Legion, you play as members of DedSec, an organization intent on freeing London from tyranny and corruption. And unlike in most games where you have set characters to play as, in Legion, anyone can become a DedSec operative. Some are willing to cooperate immediately. Others require you to lend them a hand before joining the group, whether because they're under some sort of bigger threat or because of anti-DedSec sentiment that has been spread by the media. And some of them are actually quite useful. For example, early into the game you need to recruit a construction worker in order to complete a specific mission. One of his skills is summoning a cargo drone which you can climb on top of and use as a means of transportation. Now this was really cool, alright? This adds another layer of strategy to the missions themselves and makes for some pretty interesting and funny gameplay, I'm not gonna lie. You know, you gotta give credit where it's due. And he also had a wrench and a nail gun as unique weapons. His uniform also allowed him to enter restricted construction sites and raise much less attention. Other characters can take less explosion damage, hide from pursuit by blending in, scavenge more ammo and loot, take reduced damage from car crashes, exceeding melee combat and damage reduction. Now, a nice little detail is that all those skills are related to the character's profession. And once you unlock the D-Profiler skill, you'll be able to see what needs being done in order to recruit each NPC. And you can even look at their schedules and learn a little bit more about every single character. That was a nice touch. You can see some pretty fun stuff. And there's also some pretty unique recruitment events too. For example, I met an NPC called Irene Carter and decided to tag her so I could recruit her later. Now, I never fulfilled her requirements, but later on I found her boyfriend, Jonathan Robertson, who is an artist, getting his ass kicked by the police for no reason whatsoever. Once I politely asked the man in charge to fuck off, Jonathan immediately joined DedSec after a short conversation, and much to my surprise, his girlfriend, who I had tagged earlier, also joined by default. This was a nice little touch. However, making it so that he can play as virtually everyone is a dangerous move that almost always lands head first on the concrete. First, because not having strong characters you can empathize with and relate to, it makes the player feel detached from who he's playing as. Everyone who played in like Assassin's Creed 2 will always remember Ezio Auditore da Firenze in a very fond way. And second, if you choose to go down this path, then you absolutely need a staggering high-level story to balance the lack of connection to the characters you get to play as. And Watchdogs Legion delivers neither of those. Throughout your journey as DedSec members, you'll begin uncovering larger conspiracies and big figureheads who threaten London, like Mary Kelly, the sickening head of the Kelly clan who enslaves the less fortunate and sells the organs of the slaves who do not comply with her tyranny. Or Inspector Lau, who's a hard-boiled cop hell-bent on fulfilling her comrades' wishes of bringing Kelly to justice. And while there are certain decent moments, like a few with Inspector Lau, you'll forget the game's lore as soon as you're done with it. It often feels lazy in script writing and execution. There are a couple of good voice actors here and there, but most of them deliver the lines in an uninspired way. It's like they don't want to be there. And quite frankly, I can see why. To put it into other words, it's like that afternoon straight-to-DVD movie you watch because your soul has momentarily left your body and only your bare minimum vitals are properly functioning. You know, just enough so you don't die. You know, unfortunately, man, you're gonna forget the story as soon as you're done with the game. Now, let's talk about the overall world and mission design. There's some good stuff here. The city of London has been created beautifully. Even if you're playing on a PS4, you still get some breathtaking views and scenes. I often caught myself stopping just so I could admire the city. Now, speaking of the missions themselves, you have a few different types, like sabotaging servers and systems, neutralizing important targets, and photographing sensitive evidence. Legion's strongest suit is, without question, the interior design of buildings you have to break into. While simple at first, as you progress, you'll begin entering really complex areas that'll take more than hovering to a window with your construction worker, or going into a back alley and remotely controlling your spider drone to get to your objective. And there are some really good moments here. There was this one particular mission where I ended up temporarily losing about 3 or 4 agents as I tried to complete it. One of them was my construction worker, my most valuable operative at the time. Sure, after a while he returns, but the tension of being unable to use your most valuable character for a period of time in case he's arrested or incapacitated adds another layer of planning and attention required. And I wasn't particularly angry because I lost all of those operatives. As a matter of fact, I was pleased. Each operative I lost was due to poor planning and understanding of the building's layout and personnel on my part. You see, in order to perform well in the world of Watchdogs Legion, you have to make good use of your skills and gadgets. You can easily hijack any camera from inside a building and use it as a proxy so you can open doors, tag enemies, find targets, reroute power to open doors and such. Again, all of this is done very swiftly. This is good. And there are also devices that require physical activation, so staying safely hidden outside won't always be an option. You can also hack turrets and drones to take manual control over them or have them start firing at their own allies. Backstabbing machines are tight. Obtaining gadgets and upgrades is easy enough. All you have to do is collect upgrade points scattered throughout the city. It's that simple. And now I must talk about other glaring weaknesses this game has. The driving mechanics are as dated as they come. The driving in this game is stiff, it feels straight out of a 2010 game. The same goes for the player engine itself. While Legion's environments certainly look good, there is a variety in character looks, the facial animations and your overall movement feel dated, no matter how well it works. You know, going by the engine alone, you get the distinct feeling that you're playing a game from 2015 or earlier. And coming from a company that shits money, such as Ubisoft, this is some severe lazy work. It's high time Ubisoft gets off its lazy ass and brings its engines to modern times. And no matter how much fun you may have at certain points in the game, Legion lacks in mission variety. You almost always find yourself doing the same thing over and over and over again, no matter how fun it is. That would be much more tolerable if it had a good storyline and relatable characters, but once again, Legion delivers none of the above. So before my final verdict, let's recap the game's strengths and weaknesses. Strengths: swift hacking, fluid and fun gameplay, well-designed mission areas. Weaknesses: dull and inconsistent storytelling, dated engine, pathetic police AI, sometimes amateurish voice acting, lack of variety in types of missions, poor variety of gadgets and upgrades. So, in the end, Watchdogs Legion, while it does have fun aspects to it, in general, feels like another very lazy job by Ubisoft. This game screams standard Ubisoft game, and unfortunately, oftentimes in a very bad way. There's also an online mode where you have to fight zombies and get stashes of items and crap like that. It's bland and lazy. Alright, this is out of place. This is shoehorned. And there's also another online mode that's supposed to be this open world gameplay, but I've found very little people to play with, so I can't really speak much about it. And also, I know that there's an expansion out there, but expansions will never be reason enough to buy a game. Imagine if I told you this. You know, the base game is very bland and average, but the expansion is good. You gonna trust me on that? Does that seem fair? And now for the final verdict. Watchdogs Legion has some fun mechanics and moments, but ultimately falls flat because of all of its shortcomings. And it's even worse because this game comes from a company that shits more money than it shits crappy DLC and microtransactions. They had the money, knowledge, and tools to make a much better game than this, and trust me, there was plenty of room for them to do so. The game itself is not exactly bad, but it's the textbook definition of average and lazy. It's a cash grab. And even though I did enjoy the time I spent playing this, it didn't take much time to get a solid read on what this game offered and lacked. So in the end, I give this game a 6 out of 10. And at a full price, this game is a sheer hard pass. Hell, even at half price, you can easily find something much more interesting to play. Really, come on. If you do find it at the discount bin for under 20 and are fully aware of what you're getting into, then yeah, you could have some fast food type of fun. But still, I need to address this one more time, and it's really insulting that a company as rich as Ubisoft would put out games like this. Really, we deserve better. You know, this game almost feels like a longer DLC, and not even a good one at that. And making videos takes a lot of time, and this isn't my main gig yet. I do this in my free time. So if you guys could help me out by subscribing and helping me reach that 1,000 subs, it would be amazing. You guys rock. So that was it for this video. I hope you found it informative, and I'll see you next time. Download out.